Hello, everyone. My name is Robin Placencia, and I'm here to talk about searching tips and using an online database. Now, today, to kind of teach this, I'm going to use Oxford Scholarship Online, which is a database through Oxford University. And something kind of interesting is when you click this database, it does suddenly change its name to Oxford Academic. So I just want to make that clear to avoid any confusion. So, really quick, for this presentation, my audience would be the general public, maybe a high school or a college student who hasn't had much instruction on research tactics, or anybody searching or looking to search more efficiently when using a database. So our objectives for today are first, we're going to go through just briefly 8 online search tactics that will make searching within a database a lot simpler. Then we're going to kind of just go over really briefly choosing a database and how to find the one that's best for you. Then we're going to use a search example using Oxford Academic Online Database. And I have kind of a fake research topic we'll go over and go over the database itself. And then we'll get to our conclusion. So first, we're going to start with online information search tactics. And again, I came up with 8 basic guidelines based on what we've learned throughout this class that I think will make your search a little bit easier. So number one is really decide what you want to know. Again, this seems really, really easy. However, I do think this takes some time. Sometimes within our brain, things make sense. And then when we put them on paper, they get longer and longer and a little more unclear. So my first challenge is come up with one question or statement that really defines what you want to know. And this may take some time just to make you aware. Number two, we want to simplify your topic more. And I like to think, what are 4 keywords you could use to kind of sum up your question? You can use more or less words, but I find 4 is kind of our magic number with certain databases. Number three, try to find a database that will help you, and we'll kind of go over that a little bit more later. But just a reminder, not all databases are created equally or the same, and they don't all have the same information. So it's really important to find one that will really help you with your specific topic. Number four, to try the advanced search feature. I don't know about you, but I didn't really use this feature a whole lot in my searching before I took my online retrieval class. And then I started using this feature a lot more once I knew what to do. Number five is kind of where we start narrowing our results. So we have too few results or too many results. So too few results, when you're searching, if you want to kind of broaden how many articles you get, you can kind of find similar words to your keywords that will help get more results. You can also add words like or in between them, and that will really give you some more options. So what I mean is if one of my key terms happens to be money or budget, I could add the words or and then add funding or spending habits or anything that has to do with money. And that could bring up more articles that would kind of give me more options with my research. For too many results, if you're getting too many results to narrow your search, I found using the advanced search features was really, really awesome to narrow down what I wanted, especially when it came to publication dates or finding current references. Next, it's to change it up. One thing that I always felt like I was a failure at was finding key terms, and I felt like I shouldn't change them. And one thing that I've learned throughout the class that I took was that you do actually need to have enough key terms and you need to be ready to change them up. That's just part of the search process and will actually help speed up your search and make your results a little more relevant to what you're searching. And finally, the most important thing is get help, ask a librarian. So just a reminder, librarians can help whether it's a database question, a general search engine, depending on your topic, they can help you search where to look and find the right database. And if you don't have time to go into a library, please check out the virtual results. Now let's move on a little bit to finding a database. So first, again, I have to put it one more time, consult with a librarian if you have time, either in person or again virtually. It doesn't take a lot of time to even use the chat features or send an email to ask what database might be the best. Or again, go in to talk to a librarian about the research you're kind of conducting to see what would be best. But if you don't have time to go to your local library, then please head to their website and see what databases they offer. Because a lot of times, if you decide that you want to use Google or another search engine like Yahoo or Bing to find a database related to your topic, you might actually not have that database available without paying a fee. So the fee could be monthly, it could be yearly, it could be per publication, etc. But if you look at your local library, or if you're a high school student or college student looking at your high school or college library database system, you might have a database that works perfectly for your topic. So I encourage you to look through your library first, and then if you need to, you could also use things like Google and search engines to find something. Now, really quick, here I have a picture, figure one, and that is of Pennsylvania Western University's database system and how they kind of do an A to Z database system. When searching for a database using your local school or college library website, their pages will all probably look a little bit differently. But again, this picture kind of represents the one for Penn Western University. It has many databases. And if you notice underneath the databases in the system, it does have a small description of each. Now, each database describes themselves differently, of course. Some, though, in this description will give you topics, will tell you what kind of publications they have. Do they have media, like multimedia files, or do they have images, things like that. And then finally, search features that are available are at the very top of the picture you can see here. And a lot of time databases, when they are listed A to Z, will have the title, the keyword, the subjects, types, vendors. It gives you a lot of different ways to kind of find what you're looking for based on your topic. Now, let's kind of switch gears here, and we're going to go into our mock search, and we're going to go to all about Oxford Academic. Now, first, as I said before, it's owned by Oxford University. It's operated and published by the University Press from Oxford University. They have authoritative content. So, according to their website, 47% of their journals are in the top 4% of subject areas. So, they're very highly rated journals. That they specifically have in their database. It prides itself on being inclusive and easily shareable, and it's available on any device. So they really kind of preach about that on their website, especially in the information tab, because they want to make it clear that it's available to people who may be hard of hearing or have vision difficulties can still use this source. There's information on thousands of subjects available. And there's over 600 million book chapters, 4 million journals, articles, and 5 million images and multimedia files. Now, Oxford Scholarship Online has a lot of search features, and it has a few that I think are kind of unique and a little bit ahead of the game technologically. So, first, you can search books, journals, or all of the Oxford academic records at once. For our mock search, I did use the journal feature. There's also an AI discovery assistant that you can use to help you search more efficiently. I also use this in the advanced mock search. So you kind of got an idea of what's offered through that and what you can or can't do. You can search subjects including humanities and arts, law, medicine and health, social sciences, math, etc. Again, there's thousands of subjects you can search, but those are kind of the main ones that they really advertise. And then the information tab includes search tips, AI tips, what they publish, site features, etc. There's a ton on that page that I'll kind of discuss later. So first, here's a picture of the main page when you get into Oxford Academic. So again, first you can see in the middle, there's subjects. I have it circled in the purple in the top left corner. There's journals or books that you can search with. So you can search with either one, or again, this is the main Oxford academic page where you can search everything at once. You'll then see at the top right that there's a sign in through your institution and kind of a user interface and an information symbol. One thing that's nice about Oxford Academic is if you don't have an account through an institution, you can still search. It is limited searching, but it is nice that you can use it. Next, we're kind of in the Oxford Academic Books section. And right here, you'll see some of the subjects that they have. So again, these 5 topics they're showing are the ones they have the most content on, but they have thousands and thousands of subjects you can search for. Then, if you look, you'll see where my like pinkish purpley box is. You'll see Oxford Academic and the AI Discovery Assistant area and where our basic search box is. So, kind of talking about the AI Discovery Assistant a little bit, some things I found out during our advanced search, moving ahead here, is that it doesn't love questions, that it's a lot better with kind of topic statements, and it will provide direct results for you. So I'll talk about my results later, but I did use that function and found it extremely useful, especially if you want a quick, easy search that will give you relevant results. And then finally, you'll see in blue, I circled our information tabs, which in this case are kind of the help buttons for this website. Now, if we move into where the information sections are, you'll see a plethora of information. So about Oxford Academic, what they publish, purchasing, all of those nice things. Some things to point out. First thing, if you look in the bottom middle, you'll see using the content, and you'll see site features and searching and AI discovery assistance and citations. Those 4 categories I found extremely useful as they gave kind of helpful hints when using this database to search. So they talk about those words, the Boolean operators, if you will, the ands, the ors, and the word nots to use in between our keywords when searching. It talks about, for anybody who's a little more into the search process, it'll talk about things called proximity parameters. So just ways to narrow down things more. That's a little bit more of an advanced feature. It gives you some really helpful hints on the Discovery Assistance AI feature and kind of helps you get more relevant results using those key terms or even a search statement. It talks about citations and how to write them. Now, moving on, we're going to go to our basic search example. So, my basic search, I just said, what are the health benefits of coffee? So, a very simple search. So, as you can see in my purple box, you'll see where I put that search in. And then I began kind of figuring out what my key terms were. So, I started with coffee, medical, benefits, and health. Moving on, I then added those Boolean operators, if you will, or the words and or not into my search. So I put coffee and medical and benefits and health for my initial search. And then just a reminder, everyone, don't forget that help button or information section that we just went to get search tips if you need them. And again, you can use that for most databases. Most databases will have an information or help tab somewhere. So moving on in our search here, for our basic search results, you can see on the left, I have kind of a screenshot of what I've found with those, just a basic search. So we got 5,047 results. And out of the first 20 results, 11 of them were relevant to my search. So for our advanced search example, again, I used the same topic. What are the health benefits of coffee? And I began with the same key terms, coffee, medical, benefits, and health. I then again did the same thing. I used the words and within my search. So I did coffee and medical and benefits and health. And then I went, instead of into the journal feature, I went into the Oxford Academics Advanced Features. And again, so you have to do an initial search in Oxford. So I had to put in coffee and medical and benefits and health to get a result. And then that's when I could use the advanced features on the left side of the Oxford page, which I'll show now. So as you can see on the left side of this page, you'll see it says modify search. It has my search terms. It has a bunch of different bubbles, availability, book editions, format, subject. On the next slide, you're going to see even more options. So these are all of the things that it gave us again for to kind of just narrow down our search a little bit. So again, the example search continued. Automatically, the advanced search appeared on the left side of the page after my initial search. The advanced options include search modification, available text, addition, formats, subjects, type of text, collection, the journals, the series, and the publication dates. So it really goes through all the different type of literature you can pick from, the additions, any subject if you want to narrow it down further, etc. And again, you can search in Oxford Academic or narrow it to books or journals. Moving on the left side of the page, you can see the rest of the advanced search features where it has publication dates, series, journal, and collections. To narrow it down even further, one thing I really enjoyed was once if I clicked a collection or a journal or a series, I could see how many search results were going to show up and how broad my search would get. Again, I used the AI discovery in Oxford Academic. When I used it, AI gave me 10 results that were all relevant to my search. I also changed the advanced search parameters. So I use my basic search terms, the coffee and medicine and health and benefits. But then I changed my advanced search to include the year published from 2018 to the present. I changed the article format to journal and journal articles. And I changed the subject to medicine and health. Out of the first 20 results, this gave me 13 relevant results that were actually different from my basic search results. In conclusion, so just a reminder going back, originally we had 8 steps. I did narrow them by the end of this presentation to 5 for our conclusion. So again, first, decide what you want to know. Number 2, make sure you simplify your topic more. So once you find that topic statement or that topic question, simplify your topic to 4 key words that you could use to sum up your question. Find a database that will help you. Again, try to use a librarian for this or the summaries under each database that is provided. And if you need to use a search engine, that is a great way to do it. But make sure if you use a search engine, you do have access to that database and the publication you're trying to get to. Number 4, try to advance the advanced search features to narrow or broaden your results. And again, you can still use your 4 to 8 keywords. And finally, the most important, don't forget to ask a librarian, whether it's in person or virtually, via the chat features, email, or even trying an AI function, even though that's not a librarian, that will at least get you a little bit more information if you are stuck.